breaking down Keep Me Company, part 2, Finders Keepers. So the album is about growth. As you may or may not know, a lot of people do know. The concept behind it is growth and getting comfortable with the idea of growth within yourself and then embracing it, accepting it and then embracing it, right? And then realizing there's others that are like you who are coming to terms with it and then accepting it and then embracing it. And you realize you're not alone in that, because now you see them on the same type of time you're on and you're like, yo, you feel the same way? Hey, yo, come keep me company, man. Come over here. That's why it's called Keep Me Company. So Finders Keepers. Promise you find it, younger you can keep it, right? This peace of mind. You know how peace of mind get. It ain't for the weaker. What I'm saying on the hook, the journey and the path to get to peace of mind is usually the rockiest road you'll find, right? Trying to get from here to there. You know how peace of mind get. It ain't for the weaker, you know, like it ain't for those who can't withstand what it takes to get to peace of mind. Peace of mind is so hard to get to, whether mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, whatever it is, financially. You gotta fight that fight to get there, right? So the rule, you can't leave till you find what you came for. Luckily, I came from the same store. Listen, yo, my white tees went from a 2X to a large. The sizes in between them all was left in the park, while my seat is still on reserve until the benches is gone. Early gentrification felt like espionage. So what I'm saying there, off rip, I'm getting right into the idea of growth. Wearing big, long white tees, you know. I could have said a 5X, right? But I never had a 5X. I would have a 2 or 3. But my white tees went from a 2X to a large. I'm more refined, cleaned up now. The sizes in between them all, from the large to the 2X or whatever it is you're wearing, was left in the park, meaning I left that at the same park that I just talked about on community service, on the bench with a Dutch like we was chiefing with Nas. That same park, I left them there, you know? I left those sizes in between there at the park. My seat is still on reserve, meaning I didn't change but so much. I changed, I grew, but not all the way out of it where I don't relate to that and I'm not familiar with that and I don't understand that. I always will forever. So my seat is still on reserve until those benches is gone. Early gentrification felt like espionage. If those benches is gone, that means that park is gone. That means gentrification came, cleaned that park out and threw up high rises and condos and changed everything that park was, right? Took it out of the neighborhood in a literal sense and figuratively. So my seat is still on reserve until the benches is gone. Early gentrification felt like espionage. It felt like they were spying on us when gentrification started. Like, yo, who are these people over here who look nothing like us, would never be in our world? My view, drilling on the prints of the wall where you catch your breath. The same wall that you're leaning on, waiting outside or waiting in the lobby, the same wall, you've been on that wall so long, it's like you could see your print on it. Like how you got a print in the couch, you got your print in the couch from sitting there so much. My view is drilling on the prints of the wall where you catch your breath. In this jungle, in this heat of it all, the wall that you're leaning on all day, outside, corner store, or in the lobby, by the mailboxes, whatever it is. My view drilling in the prints of the wall when you catch your breath. My intuition kicking the door like Inspector Deck. Like, first up, never miss, perfect way to settle in, all in together and treated like an inheritance. You know, Inspector Deck, he's known for being the king of opening up a record. Every record he's on, everybody want him to go first. He always has the best way to start a record as far as his verse and the way he comes in. It kicks in the door. My intuition kicking the door like Inspector Deck. First up, never miss, perfect way to settle in, all in together, treated like an inheritance. And what I'm saying is, your intuition, mine kicks in. I know when it is like, okay, this is what's about to happen. Let's move this way, or let's not move that way. Intuition kicking the door like Inspector Deck. A red or blue pill that'll clear out the in-betweens. My glasses turned me into sincere and M&Gs. The belly of the beast can appear if you've been in reach. But all in all, shit'll seem fair if we get to eat. So the red or blue pill, the matrix, all that, you know, you choose this side or that side, you choose this life or that life. My glasses turned me into sincere and M&Gs. Sincere was Nas and Belly when he walked into M&G's, which is the restaurant in Harlem, or was, which is the restaurant in Harlem. When he walked in there to meet with DMX, he had the glasses on, and he was like, yo, I'm moving to Africa, I'm changing, I'm growing, I'm getting out of this, I'm giving you the bins, I'm giving everything, I'm good, I'm going to Africa, I might never come back. And X is like, well, Bundy's is like, word? Africa, you know? So that whole frame of mind, when he walked into M&G's with the glasses on, and just grew, you know? And knowing me, I wear glasses sometimes, so just to play on that, just talking about that growth again, you know? the belly of the beast. So now I'm helping you figure out the sincere M&G's line by saying belly from the movie. That's sincere, Nas, belly. The belly of the beast can't appear if he's been in reach. The belly of the beast, right? That demon. He can't just appear on you if he always been around. If you always had that demon, you always had that inner in you of this demon that wants to get out and do certain things that you really don't want to, that you're trying to grow out of. The belly of the beast, he can't just appear and pop up out of nowhere if he's always been there. He's always been in reach. And then again, the play on belly with Nas and everything him and X was doing, Sincere and Bunny was doing, can't appear if he's been in reach. But all in all, shit, it seemed fair if you get to eat. So you rationalize it like, yo, it's all good because we eating, we doing good. So it don't matter if we don't grow out of this. It don't matter if we give into these demons and these desires. This belly of the beast, it don't matter. Like, it's fine that he's always been here. It's fine that we give into that because the outcome is we're succeeding off it, right? That's the way we've been built. That's the way we've been bred to think. So what we talking? And speaking of talking, I never did much of that. The introverted extrovert who lived out of duffel bag. If you know me, you know my story about going from house to house, my mother and my father back and forth on the weekends and all that, and having two houses like Trey and Boys in the Hood. I've talked about that a lot. Duffel bag on the weekends, going from one to the other. The introverted extrovert. The juxtaposition of that, of being both. A little bit of introvert, a little bit of extrovert. You know, everything will come a 2-for-1 if you double back. Instead, if you buy the skinnies, the confetti will come with that. They're just talking about those same demons in the belly of the beast growing up in a certain way where they tell you, yo, if you do this, it'll happen. If you buy the skinnies, the confetti will come with that. The skinnies is the baggies, and you know, the confetti meaning being celebrated. If you buying them skinnies, it's because you got a reason. It's because you have a purpose for them. So that means you in the game. That means you locked in. That means you clicking. That means everything is rolling. And soon enough, they tell us you'll be celebrated. But then you know what all comes with all that as well. So that's how that goes. Second verse. Playing Stove God in the truck, hoping my son can't hear it. Shuffle at the Black Star and all the guilt disappearing. Pots and kettles. The first entendre I'm ever burying, because half my catalog is pots and the kids stirring them. So it's just irony. True story. Me and my son was in the truck and I'm bumping Stove God. Shout out to all my Griselda family. You know, those my bros and how I feel about them. I'm bumping Stove God, not really realizing and paying attention to the fact that my son is in the back seat. And I look in the rearview mirror and I look back and I see him back there kind of nod his head a little bit. And I was like, oh shit, I gotta turn this off. Stove is talking about putting 50 in somebody's car door and, you know, all these things. And I'm bumping it, going crazy. And I'm like, oh, I gotta turn this off. He's in the back seat. As much as I love it, he can't love it, you know? So I turn on Black Star, I hit shuffle, Black Star came on. I'm like, okay, bet. That's growth, right? Back in the days growing up, you know, a parent might have let their kid listen or whatever, you know? So that's a little sign of that growth of now I'm growing up, like, yo, I gotta be cognizant of things like that. Small moments like that can have a large impact. So, but at the same time, it's the pot calling the kettle black. Like, how can I feel a certain way where I'm always painting pictures of what's going on outside and what was happening in certain worlds that I'm privy to, you know? So that's why I'm saying the first entendre I'm ever burying like this one, I'm kind of like, man, I feel a little conflicted even with that, because how you gonna look at, you know, not being able to play this around your youngin' when your music kind of speaks on similar moments and topics and energies, not in the same way, but similar worlds or the same world, right? So the pot calling the kettle black, because half my catalog is pots and the kids stirring them, right? Carnegie Hall was as familiar as the kitchen was. I talked about being a kid who would go to see plays and musicals and everything and classical arrangements at, you know, Carnegie Hall and on Broadway and all that. But I also know what it was like in that other world just from hanging out with my friends, just from being with my friends and being one of the 4 or 5 guys in the crew. You know, Carnegie Hall was as familiar as the kitchen was. The view far enough but close enough to feel in love, I became Rich Paul, 2020 Vision Us. Play the gym day to day and you don't gotta dribble none to get it. So I've always used Rich Paul as an example of me in the sense of Rich Paul may have never played basketball a day in his life, but you can't tell him he don't know ball because he grew up around that. His whole world is LeBron and that whole team, Maverick and all of them. And all those guys that was on that team, even though he wasn't, he grew up in that world. So him being an agent, he knows basketball just as well as somebody who laced up the sneakers and was in the gym every day, just by him being in the gym, hanging out on the bleachers, maybe talking to the girls and watching his homies play ball. So it's the same thing, right? Like with me, I didn't have to be in the scramble to understand it just from secondhand smoke in a sense, right? Like just from being around it. The view far enough, but close enough to feel in love. I became Rich Paul, 2020 visioned us. Play the gym day to day and you don't gotta dribble none to get it. Hurry up and buy was the tradition, but waiting could become the what ifs, like the commission, right? Hurry up and buy, you know that, the Menace to Society, and you know that that's the energy in the neighborhoods that we grew up in by the store owners who don't look like us, right? And aren't from where we're from, but come in and take our money and succeed and take care of their families off of us. Hurry up and buy was the tradition where waiting could become the what ifs, like the commission. The commission was the album we were supposed to get from Big and Jay and Charlie Baltimore and Cam and all of them, you know, so what if that ever happened, right? So I'm just using that as the metaphor. Waiting could become the what ifs. You waited around instead of hurry up and buying, you could become a what if just from waiting around. Like, damn, but what if he would have made it? What if she would have lived? Just like we was like, damn, what if they would have got that album off? Waiting could become the what ifs, like the commission. Learning on the fly can cloudy up your position, right? Learning all that on the fly. Instead of being taught that by your OGs or your parents or the people around you, learning all that type of shit on the fly could cloudy up your position, meaning it could change your whole life. That's not something you want to learn on the fly if you don't have to. You want to be taught those morals and values and lessons of how to move inside, outside, and otherwise. Learning on the fly can cloudy up your position, cloudy up where you at, but flying in the clouds and hard to see if it's cloudy. When you finish your breakfast, then you got to do the dishes. We all heard, you know, dude, finish your breakfast. My own script told me, dude, finish your breakfast, so I'm playing with that. When you finish your breakfast, then you gotta do the dishes. You can't just leave that there, right? Do the math. My plate clean following morale, so I'm saying I followed all that. When I heard, dude, finish your breakfast, yep, got that. Absolutely, gotta move that way. That's a jewel I'ma take. My plate clean following morale, meaning I learned from it. I passed that test, you know, I signed up for that. My plate clean following morale and leaping out of their box until they box us in the ground, meaning the box that they have us in, I'm leaping out of it until I'm put in the ground. I'm not gonna fit in this box that I'm supposed to be confined to just because I'm young and black and I'm a male in America. Leaping out of their box until they box us in the ground. Back in the Jeep, the box Jeep, the Jeep is a box, I have a Jeep. Back in the Jeep with the speakers running wild and low driving shoes knocking reasonable drought, meaning polo driving shoes. So now I really grew up, right? Like I'm in polo driving shoes, you know, loafers, you know, no sock, khakis, right? I really grew up in embracing this idea of growth. But I'm still bumping Reasonable Drought, which is the Stove God album that I was playing with my son in the car. So it just goes full circle. You grew up, but you still are who you are, you know? Third verse, I moved to Atlanta, but my signal got the same range. Home plate, Braves game, emails from JPEG. Truist Park, Wi-Fi clicking, all is well, that's ending well. I'm rooting that the Yankees win still, no hard feelings. So what I'm saying in that whole spot, if you know me, you know I moved to Atlanta, but my signal, being from New York, got the same range in the literal sense and in the figurative sense. Home plate, Braves game, sitting behind home plate at the Braves game, checking emails that I'm getting from family and my peoples on JPay. You know what JPay is? The email and communication system when somebody get locked up. So I'm at the Braves game, home plate, which is the equivalent of being floor seats at a Knicks game or something, but I'm checking emails from my peoples that's locked up, right? And sending money, putting money on books at the time to show love while I'm sitting home plate. The irony of that being my life, right? And that's real situations I've been in a bunch of times. So I moved to get away from certain things, but I'm still, a certain part of this world is still a part of me, even without me choosing to be, right? I moved to Atlanta, but my signal got the same range. Home plate, Braves game, emails from JPay, Truist Park, Wi-Fi clicking. Truist Park is where they play. The Wi-Fi is clicking, all is well, that's ending well. I'm rooting that the Yankees win still, no hard feelings. I moved to Atlanta, but I'm still in New York. I'm still a Yankee, you know? I still play the Jets with the guards building the projects. I'm still one of them that can sit on that same bench I talked about. I still play the Jets with the guards building, playing it all behind us with all of the yard missing, you know? planted, like the projects planted behind us, with all of the yard missing. There's no front yard. It's the P's. It's conditions that kids shouldn't have to grow up in. Why can't there be a front yard for kids to play in? Why can't there be a world of that type of life for these kids? Why are they just giving rubber mats in the park like I was growing up, right? So planted all behind us with all of the yard missing, juxtapositions, flowing in abundance, coated in redundance, and soaking in the dope that did the numbing. Same dope that did the numbing. Don't front. You know I got you open like the cupboard your dreams were spilling out of and the ropes they known to come with. So what I'm saying there, all these juxtapositions are coated in redundance, right? It's like redundant at this point. Like it never ends. It's a never ending cycle. Soaking in the dope that did the numbing. You know, dope, numb your nose. Don't front. You know I got you open. Don't front. You know I got you open. Play on that. You know, with my Black Moon family. You know I got you open like the cupboard, right, in the kitchen. You know I got you open like the cupboard your dreams were spilling out of, and the ropes they known to come with. You reaching in the cupboard to get flour and get things that you need to do certain things with. And the ropes they known to come with, if you do those things in your mind, you like, jewelry's coming, money's coming, women coming, cars coming, all that's coming with it, right? So your dreams were spilling out of, the flour is spilling out of the cupboard. The flour is like your dreams, right? Because your dreams are dead set into that, into making that happen. And the ropes they know to come with. When worst come to worst, my peoples come first. And you know to believe it if the scene is unrehearsed. Meaning, you know it's real if it's not rehearsed. If you need your peoples and they locked in with you and you need them, it's not something that has to be premeditated or planned. You can get with them on the fly and they got you. No matter who they are, no matter how much they change, you can get with them on the fly and they got your back and they gonna make sure you good. So when worst come to worst, my peoples come first, and you know to believe it if the scene is unrehearsed. Like if I can just call on you and it's a go, or you can call on me and it's a go for anything, it's not rehearsed, it's not something we had to plan out, it's not something that was days or whatever ahead, then you know it's real. You know, a lot of people can plan to be there for you, but the ones who really there for you in an instant, you know it's real. Finders keepers.